Hey kids, welcome to the Fuzzy Loaf Podcast on our special Saturday evening edition, where two dorks talk about the latest happenings in comics and pop culture. I am your de facto host, only in the fact that I am saying this intro, Scott. With me as always is Matt.
Hey.
And so there wasn't a whole lot of news this week, or there was some, but not enough for a really interesting Sunday morning show. So Matt and I thought, let's just chill. We got some beers and pizza here. We're just going to talk about whatever the hell happened this week as we chow down and have a good time and celebrate this Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah. So if you are watching live, which I'm guessing not very many people are, you can tweet at us. Just tweet at Fuzzy Loaf and we'll respond live.
Yep,
I guess,
we got our phones here.
So
call us if you have our numbers.
Yeah.
If you're a friend watching us.
Yeah. Otherwise, what do you want to talk about first? Because there's a few things that we can talk for a while, but they're not really big news, or kind of big.
That was
news
everything.
things.
That's kind of why we're doing this. Let's talk about the totally awesome Hulk that they finally revealed after forever long, and it's who everybody thought. Yeah,
everybody assumed that it was going to be Amadeus Cho, especially because of the hair, like the curl or whatever. So if you don't know, Amadeus Cho is from the Marvel Universe. He's a Korean American who is extremely smart, and I don't know that he has any abilities beyond that besides when he's granted abilities in the comic series. So he was involved in a storyline with Hercules and the Hulk on, I think it was the World War Hulk, I think is what it was called, the storyline.
That was after Planet Hulk.
Yeah, it was after Planet Hulk. So he's already been tied to the Hulk and some of the characters in Hulk comics. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to go about giving him the powers and what this means for Bruce Banner. So some questions I had are are we going to get, because Amadeus Cho is really smart, are we going to get the kind of gray Hulk where it's super smart and super strong, or when he turns Hulk is he going to be kind of dumb?
From the illustrations I've seen and just the expressions on his face as the Hulk,
he
seems like he's retaining his intelligence. And for me, the Hulk has never been interesting, really, because
She-Hulk is way more interesting.
She-Hulk has always been way more interesting because Hulk's just a monster. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of I was watching Hulk and Agents of Smash on Netflix yesterday, and I know it's a kid's cartoon, but even then I was because they made the Hulk, he's able to speak and think, and I was okay, that's kind of weird, that's out of character. And then he's a team with all these other Hulks, and I'm well, this is just really strange. I've never really found an interest in the Hulk.
Do you think this change of character might draw you in?
No.
You don't think it's going to do anything for you?
No. To me, it's just
I'm interested.
They're doing something different.
I'm interested to see how it changes the Hulk, or if it changes the Hulk at all. And then also, what does this mean for Bruce Banner? So is Bruce Banner going to be still a smart scientist that's involved somehow, or is he going to be totally removed from the story, or is he just going to be like a normal human?
Who knows? I have no idea what they're doing after this. Maybe he'll be part of this too.
Yeah.
Maybe he finally found a way to separate himself from the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We've never really had another official Green Hulk before. Mm-hmm. We've had Red Hulks taking the place of Hulk and other stuff, but never another Green Hulk that I can remember.
And if I remember correctly, with the I'm not gonna remember. I can't remember who's writing this comic. Do you remember?
I have no idea.
I want to say it's.
I haven't really been paying attention.
Something
to it.
Park. I can't remember his name. But anyways, he did a interview before we knew who was taking over as the Hulk with Entertainment Weekly. So this was a few months ago, once they revealed the cover but hid his face. He did an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and they asked him a bunch of questions will we see Bruce Banner's friends and other people that we're familiar with in the Hulk comics in the series? And he had said that even in the first issue we'll see some of the people we're familiar with.
Well, we
gotta
figure out how the hell we got to this place.
Exactly. So is it whatever situation turns Bruce Banner into the Hulk, does somehow Amadeus Cho throw himself in the middle of it, or we don't know anything at this point?
Yeah, maybe he's really smart and just found oh, I can find a way to give myself super Hulk powers while also being really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about the character. I've never seen him in anything before, any of the comics I've read before.
Yeah, like I said, he's a side character to Hercules and Athena.
Okay.
So he's been in some Hulk storylines, and I don't think Hercules has had any standalones besides maybe annual issues or anything.
Yeah.
But we got some more of him in the Secret Wars run, and I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know a lot about him. Like I said, I looked up some stuff a couple days ago just to see if there was any hints at like how he became Hulk or something.
When I saw the reveal, I was just like, oh well. Everyone online was saying that it was going to be Amadeus Cho, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, because I really didn't care. I didn't follow it much, and then when they revealed it, I was like, oh, so it is who everyone said it would be.
Yeah, which is kind of disappointing, but at the same time,
here, I'll take those for you.
Sweet. So I guess that's all we have to say on that, but we did also get some more news this week. We'll stick with Marvel stuff then. We got Chris Evans, who plays Captain America in the MCU, if you're unaware, which, why are you listening to this if you don't
probably
know that? Are. Says that he's happy to extend his contract beyond Infinity Wars. So up until this point,
we all assumed he was going to be done.
Yeah, because he made some comments before Captain America 2, I think.
He was probably going to quit acting and be a director
and focus on his like indie directorial stuff. Because you said he only has one film that came out.
Just came out.
Yeah, but I know he has had like production roles in other movies. Like he's been a producer on some indie movies, and that seems to be where his like true passion is. But so what I was thinking is either they made some headway in negotiations for the future, like maybe he wanted more money or wanted more character control. But then you also brought up an interesting point, which ties to another piece of news from this week, that what's his name?
Ike Perlmutter.
Perlmutter, that's what it is.
The CEO of Marvel.
Yep.
Who was he was the CEO of Toy Biz, and Toy Biz bought Marvel in the late '90s when Marvel was like in bankruptcy, and so yeah. So he's the CEO of Marvel.
And before this point, Kevin Feige had to answer to him and like a board of directors for all the MCU stuff and like all the budgets and all this other stuff. And just this week we had an announcement that like Kevin Feige is now, he's Bob Iger, is that who it is?
Bob Iger and mostly Alan Horn.
Okay, so these are people from Disney.
He's gonna bypass Ike Perlmutter and go right to
which Disney has no shortage of money, and
it's kind of like because Ike Perlmutter is
he's kind of
notorious for being very frugal, and being cheap. Which I mean, like John Campea on Movie Talk was talking about stories of how like they'll be doing like interviews and stuff for Marvel movies, and Ike Perlmutter won't put like the money out to treat the journalists and all. So like there'll be like no food there. There'll be like a bowl of Doritos and some Subway sandwiches.
Yeah. And
he was like upset that reporters were getting 2 sodas instead of 1, and then eventually just cut it out so no sodas at all. It was very, very like stingy like that.
Yeah.
So
it's believable that because we heard that with even I think it was like Captain America 2 and Civil War, they wanted a bigger budget so they could do more visually, and Ike Perlmutter was like, no, like this is enough money. And while that may be true, those were both, though Captain America 2 is an expensive movie, and Civil War is already looking to be really expensive. If you have the money and you can make it a better movie, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Essentially, but so it'll be interesting to see, and it's interesting that could be the reason why Chris Evans wants to stay on now. He could have like creative differences, or could have had creative differences with Perlmutter, or just like the idea that the budgets were going to be smaller for the movies that he was in specifically.
Right.
Because I think Captain America, the first Avenger. I don't think that one made a lot of money. So my guess is they kind of put a ceiling on how much.
They made enough money.
Yeah.
All the Marvel movies have. There's been no Marvel movie that's been a flop. They've all made enough money.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about Perlmutter though too is that I just learned. I didn't even know who the guy was until all this news came out, which is most people.
Yeah.
Apparently, he owns the majority of stock in Disney.
Oh, really?
So, really, there's nothing they can do about him as a part of the company. Like, because he's the CEO of Marvel, but he also owns the most stock in Disney. So, not only... It's like a weird situation where he's, like, also kind of technically the boss, one of the bosses, like, the boss at Disney,
Yeah.
too, at the same time. So, it's really weird. But I don't think the overall, like... change is going to affect that much.
No, because I think
or we won't notice it for
they've
a
already
number
been
of
saying
years.
yeah, they've already been receiving such a huge budget for the movies. I mean, besides doubling their cost, which would be absolutely ridiculous.
Which would be insane. Be
I don't
stupid
think,
because
yeah.
then it wouldn't make as much money.
Yeah.
We've talked about how movies are just they're spending way too much money on some movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. The longer you have these characters or these actors playing these characters, you have to pay them more. You know, if they sign a 3-movie deal for $100 million a movie, well, the next time they sign a deal, they're going to want $150 or $200 million per movie, whatever it is. I'm just using that number as an example.
Right.
But so that drives the cost of the movies up. Like, you know that Robert Downey Jr. is making hand over fist per movie. I'm sure he loves it. Like, it's not...
He's the highest paid actor right now.
I'm sure he's not like, I'm doing this because if I didn't have this amount of money, I'd hate being in these movies. But it's just, you know that the longer you're that character, the more valuable you are to the company.
He's worth that $52 million or
whatever it is.
$80 million, whatever it is.
Not to mention, the more visually epic these movies get with CGI and all this other stuff, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about it. Somebody's sitting there animating every single frame, and you're talking 23.97 frames per second. So somebody's doing 24 frames per second, basically, for a 2-hour movie, or for a large amount of the 2-hour movie. That's a lot of time for somebody.
It's crazy. So, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting story, but at the same time, it's like, well, it's not going to affect really any of us that we'll be able to see for a while.
Mm-hmm. It may give Kevin Feige some more creative leeway, though.
Right. Well, okay, so another thing that I just remembered, too, is, I said Ike Perlmutter was the CEO of Toy Biz. Apparently, he is the reason we have not been seeing Black Widow on any, real merchandise. Because he's like, I know toys, they're black, girls don't sell or whatever like that. So
I'm sure every teenage boy wants a Black Widow figure.
Dude, I would. I got my She-Hulk figure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have. Honestly, I want to diversify my action figure collection. I have 2 female action figures in my thing right now. I've got my Rey from Star Wars that I just bought yesterday at Force Friday, and my She-Hulk. Those are the only 2 of the tons and tons.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of girl action figures.
Which is just dumb.
I imagine that they'd make a lot of money if they would.
They need to stop thinking in this genderized way. Just make toys of the characters.
Well, because even if
it doesn't, no, but honestly, adults for the most part are not gonna care what the gender of the character is, as long as it's cool.
Yeah.
Look at Captain Phasma, the Star Wars. She's a female. Some people are dumb, but at the same time, I'm she's the coolest character I've seen. She could end up sucking.
Yeah.
But she looks the coolest, and I want everything Captain Phasma.
But
everything.
even the mindset, it's kind of a sexist mindset that only little boys are going to be getting these action figures.
Oh, exactly.
But even if only little boys are,
they're not going to care.
They're not going to care if it's a female or a male.
Right. Who cares if Black Widow's the one on the motorcycle? They're going to be like, oh, look at Black Widow on the motorcycle.
Remember that scene from the movie that I want to recreate?
Yeah, well, I can't because they switched it to Captain America, which doesn't make any sense.
I thought that was really strange.
It must have been Perlmutter being...
Could be.
Because I want to, why would you have a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt? A group of people that there's only, there's 5 of them?
Yeah.
And you take out Gamora, the only female. There's only 5 of them. Why would you do that?
They did that?
I think they did.
Okay.
But they
Is
were
that the one that they're selling at Target? Because I know they're selling like a bunch of
Probably.
Marvel shirts at Target now.
probably.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, because I know probably about as many females that go see every Marvel movie as I do males.
Exactly.
And even beyond that point, like I said earlier, like if a little boy is getting these toys or getting these shirts, I don't think they're gonna give a shit if a female, like,
No.
you know what I mean? If it's a character that they know
and
and
by
they
not
love,
having female characters in out there like that, you're gonna make them give a shit. You know what I mean? You're gonna establish this like genderized way of thinking,
yeah,
and that's stupid. It's just dumb.
it's dumb.
Like, I want my fucking Black Widow action figures.
Now
guys.
I want an iZombie figure.
Oh man, I do it too.
I wonder if they make them.
I got my Buffy action figure. Oh, so I lied. I have 3 because I have a Buffy action figure.
Yeah,
Because I love. I
the posable Buffy.
Yeah, she's not very posable. The figure really sucks, but it's a
Yeah.
20-year-old action figure.
Yeah,
So I have it.
understandable.
It comes with a stand, and I have her just in the one position, and I'm never changing it, because the first time I pulled her out of the box and tried to move her arm, it broke. I had to glue it back on. So now her arm is permanently just stuck in like one position. Probably because it's a 20-year-old action figure that's been in a box for
Yeah.
20 years. But-
All right, that's enough Marvel stuff, I guess.
Yeah, was
Unless
there-
there's any other
I don't
Marvel
know.
news. Okay. The other big thing, well, a nice big in air quotes thing that I wanted to talk about is Tony Todd, who has done voices for DC in the past, mostly for the animated stuff. He is going to voice Zoom in season 2 of The Flash for CW, which is a live-action TV show. So this is interesting because we're getting somebody that's voicing a character that is going to physically be on screen. So the reason they want to do this is, one reason they said was they want to keep the identity of the character secret. This season they
Gives them
did-
time to cast an actor too.
Yeah. This season they did, or season 1, spoilers if you haven't seen Flash, but if you haven't seen Flash and you're not, I don't know. What's wrong with you?
You should.
30
So if you haven't seen Flash, skip ahead like
seconds.
Yeah.
It's going to, but Dr. Wells, they used the same voice, they just added effects onto it. They
Yeah.
didn't want to do that because they didn't want the character to be as easily determined. You know, they
Right.
wanted the villain to be concealed.
Well,
for
they wanted him
longer.
to be like I heard more like a Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where Tony Todd will be more of like the James Earl Jones, where he's providing the voice and then someone else provides the body of the character.
Yeah, we see it a lot of times. Even with I can't think of his name now. Playing Snope, Supreme Leader.
Oh, Andy
Snope.
Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis a lot of times will do the body capture, like the mocap for different characters, for like heavily CGI characters, and then somebody else will provide the voice. Sometimes he
When
does
has
the
he
voice.
not done the voice?
I swear he did. Didn't he do stuff for like Harry Potter and before that he didn't?
I don't
I
know.
thought Gollum was the first one that he did the voice and the mocap for.
I don't know. I'm unaware
I could be
of that.
I could be completely wrong. I swear that's what it was. That was the
He's
first
got a
one
good
that he
voice,
voiced.
though.
Yeah, he's.
I'm excited to see him as Claw in the Marvel
I know,
movies.
my God.
And as Snoke.
Seeing him on screen though, he is because
He was kind of
normally-
intimidating.
He's a small guy. Like I think he's like 5'5". I don't think he's very.
But he looks
big.
pretty jacked.
And he
in that
was
Marvel
yeah,
movie.
and
he was only on
intimidating
screen
some.
for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one scene where he's just in that room with the twins or whatever, he looked like how he's just like not even phased. He's like, I don't care
Yeah.
about you.
To me, he was more intimidating than Ultron. Like I wasn't.
He was.
I wasn't scared
I
of
think
Ultron.
it's because they
I
made
just think-
Ultron too quippy.
Yeah, I wasn't scared of Ultron. I just thought a lot like Yellow Jacket. I just thought he was like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of the same. They played
He's just nuts.
the same character
Yeah.
where it was like
the Ultron from the comics I know is actually pretty menacing and kind of
yeah.
terrifying when you think about it. Like, this unstoppable robot is here to destroy humanity. Fuck.
Yeah. It was weird that they chose to use Ultron in the way that they did, but I guess we've talked
it
about
did
this
fit
before.
the best way for their universe that they've
But
established.
we've talked about this before. Marvel, the MCU, the weakest part is the villains because the villains are almost always the main character, like the same power set as the main character,
Flipped
but just evil.
Yeah.
And the characters,
I
they
think they'll
introduce
get,
them
I
and
think
then they
they've
die.
used enough of those characters to the point where they need to use different characters from now
Yeah,
on.
like what are they going to do with Black Panther? I mean, they're going to
Well,
use.
it's
they're gonna
Ulysses
use-
Claw.
Yeah, but he doesn't have powers. Or
Black
I guess
Panther doesn't
Black
have
has powers.
Ulysses Claw has Well, a sonic claw.
Okay. I feel like
vibranium
we're getting to the
absorbs,
point,
like,
and like,
waves.
what are they gonna do with Doctor Strange? Like, we're not gonna just get another.
I think it's gonna be Dormammu. And Baron Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor is supposed to be
Yeah.
like. I think he's gonna be more of like his friend who becomes bad, but he's not the main bad of the first movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just interested to see where they're going.
What are they gonna do for Captain Marvel? I don't even know her villains.
I don't know.
Just
I really
maybe
don't
just
know.
the Kree.
But like, this is where it starts to get interesting, because we're starting to see characters that don't have a villain that's just the opposite of them.
So
And
they're
I'm
gonna
hoping
have to change their story a little
Yeah, and
bit.
I'm hoping that like with Iron Man 3, where we got the spoilers, fake Mandarin.
The movie came out 2 years ago.
But I would love to see going forwards, like the Mandarin actually come up, even if it wasn't just for Iron Man. Like even if it
I don't
was
know if
just
they're
a
gonna even do another
broad,
Iron Man movie.
No, but like even if it was just a broad Marvel movie, you know, like not Infinity Wars, but like down the line, because we got that little short. I think it was called. I can't remember what it's called. All Hail the King. Yeah.
I think that
where
was
we find out that the Mandarin is real.
I think that was mostly to
in the
please the
MCU.
fans that were pissed off that.
But that would be a really cool way to give fan service, where we get like, I think they're kind of doing it wrong with Thanos, where it's just like a clip at the end of every movie, and it's like we know that he's coming eventually. We know he's coming with Infinity Wars, basically. But they could do something like that and build this villain up, like if they had Doctor Doom. The way that I think Doctor Doom should be done is he's kind of a in the background villain
Dr. Doom
until
is the
he
be-
becomes so menacing that
Dr.
you
Doom
have
is
to
the
deal with
best
him.
villain in the Marvel universe. I would say
He's one of the best characters in the Marvel
he's just so God.
universe.
The fact that, like, I would rather if like of all the characters that Fox has and Marvel doesn't, I would love it if Marvel had like say they only got Dr. Doom and couldn't have access to anyone else.
Yeah, because he's one of the best villains.
He's
and
the reason he's like the main character of the ongoing Secret Wars right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good.
I really like it. It's like Game of Thrones meets Marvel Universe meets.
But it's also like an
Fucking
interesting.
craziness.
It's an interesting version of these characters where it's like, it's all gray area. Like none of them are necessarily right, and none of them are necessarily wrong. They're all
Like, can you consider Dr. Doom really that evil? He saved the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, the multiverse, really. He did it all. So you can't really be, like, the fact, yeah, he may have shaped it in his image and claims to be a god, but he's
Yeah.
still, like, I would say he did a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of, so, like, I mean, I don't, and that white cloak on Doom looks pretty cool, actually. I hope they would keep that going forward. Get rid of the green and keep Dr. Doom with the white cloak, because that looks pretty cool.
Maybe that's a little bit like the Green Hulk and the Gray Hulk, though. We're just kind of like a status where this isn't necessarily
This
an
is
evil
God Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
No, but I think I agree with you that that's an interesting telling of the character where he had the ability. I guess him and Doctor Strange, and I can't remember who the third one was that was with them. They each had the
Was it
ability to
Molecule
basically.
Man?
I can't remember,
I think it was Molecule Man.
but like they each had the ability basically to become God, and Doctor Strange didn't want to because he
He's
didn't
like,
want
I
the
don't want-
temptation. And I don't know if Molecule
Doom
Man,
of all people
Yeah.
would, of course, step up.
but he saved all these people and he saved all these universes, and he's doing what he thinks is right
To
which
maintain
isn't
order.
which isn't necessarily the right thing, but he's trying to be good.
Right, and not even really good. He's just trying to, like...
Well, he's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing to do to keep
Right,
everybody
right.
alive and keep this from
Right,
happening.
you can't
again.
fault him for that.
Yeah.
He's always such an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
I always refer to him as Doom, rather than Doctor Doom, because I think that sounds like too cheesy.
Yeah.
God Doom, that even sounds really weird.
Yeah. What do you think? You've been reading some of the other tie-ins.
Yeah.
I know we kind of got off topic from DC, but
It doesn't matter.
We're
We
just-
talked about it.
yeah.
This is extra casual tonight.
so what are your favorite ones?
And I've heard that Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows is very divisive among fans,
Yeah.
but I love it. I love seeing Peter Parker in that dad role, and like I've said before, I really think that's what Marvel should have done with him post Secret Wars, because there's a lot of character to explore there as like the father with superpowers just trying to like do the right thing while at the same time trying to protect his family and
Yeah.
being conflicted as such. So I really enjoy that. I just read the Civil War, the only 3 issues of the Civil War tie-in.
Yeah, and you said that I should read those.
You might like it more than I do. I think it's like kind of unnecessarily dark, and also some things are a little far-fetched. Like, give you a synopsis of, so it basically says like, what if like the Civil War continued, kept going. So the country is split in half, with the East Coast, like east side of the country, being called the Iron, which is a nation run by Iron Man. He's like the president, and then the West is more of like an outlaw. They're not not like a globally recognized, officially recognized country, but called the Blue, run by Captain America. I'm like, it's just some really dumb names. You could have come with better names for those, like maybe.
Well, this is where I think Secret Wars is really interesting, like this whole event that's happening, because it's giving a lot of comic book writers basically like free reign. Like, you want to write a medieval. What if the Avengers took place in medieval times?
Done. You can do it.
Yeah.
They've got Wild West Avengers with 1807 or 1872.
I think maybe it was Battle World that I read. I just pulled them up because I was trying to see which ones it was. But I think it was one of the Battle Worlds that I read, where it was like 3 different stories, and one was like medieval, one was like outlaw, and the other one was, what is it? Khonshu was like the god, like the moon goddess of Egypt.
Oh.
Was like a god, and there was like werewolf. Like, it was really weird. It was basically the Egyptian pyramids were being built, and there was Avengers, these Avenger-like characters from Egyptian times that were being enslaved to build the pyramids, and they wanted to rebel against Khonshu, who was like the moon goddess. And it was like an interesting story where she creates werewolves out of these people, and it was a really crazy story. And it was like, okay, this works, because
that's what I think
right
I told
now
you too.
Secret Wars is like, whatever. You want to tell a story about all of the Marvel heroes being zombies? There you go.
That's why I'm really enjoying Secret Wars right now. It's because of the freedom it allows all the writers. Like, oh, you want a team of all the female superheroes, and they're all they all live on this one island that's basically Themyscira for Wonder Woman. But I'm like, done, do it. Or how about a world where all the Marvel zombies still exist? Done, do it.
And this is why I'm getting so excited for this fall when Secret Wars ends, because, well, we know like all this crazy shit is happening right now, and it's gonna kind of end, but at the same time we're getting these teams of people, like we're getting Guardians with the Thing and not Star-Lord. Like, this is it's gonna be
Old Man
really
Logan is gonna survive and become part of the mainstream Marvel universe.
Yeah, and we're getting
it's definitely gonna carry over. He's gonna have to adjust to like this whole new world.
Or like
now.
I can't remember what it was called, but the X-Men series where it's the X-Men from like the past or like a different universe, and they're traveling across the country in a fucking van. Like we're getting these cool stories that we would not normally be able to get, because they're going like, here's all this shit that's going on right now on this one on Battle World.
I kind of like that they're saying, fuck it, let's do this, that. But on the flip side to that, DC's been like turning everything on its head, and I haven't been liking it at all. Like, I have no interest in reading any of it.
Yeah.
Or like,
it could just be that they do it more often though. Cause
DC?
Like, yeah, because I swear they did it like 8 years ago, and then they did it again pretty recently, within the last couple of years.
I don't really like the changes they're doing.
Yeah.
I liked Wonder Woman's costume at first, and I looked at it more, and I was like, there's a lot going on here. They could have just done simple battle skirt, sword, shield.
Yeah.
Made her look more like a...
Well, and
then they've got the Jim Gordon, Batman, and Superman depowered, wearing a t-shirt. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like Marvel changes, I think, are interesting and fun. DC, I'm just like... it almost feels like they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my Marvel fanboy side coming out a little bit.
Well, and like you and I have said in the past, because I know if people listen to this, they probably think that we're Marvel fanboys, and we kind of are, but at the same time, I like a lot of the Marvel, or a lot of the DC villains better, and I like a lot of the DC characters better than I do Marvel villains or characters. It's just, I think they've done kind of a shit job in the last 10, 15 years, where they've just kind of ruined these characters that I've grown to love.
Well, even last 4 or 5 since the New 52.
Yeah.
Like, I was totally digging... that was before the New 52 is when I really started to get into DC and started to dig into it more and more. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the New 52 happened, and I was like, oh man, they changed everything that I had just learned about.
Yeah. And I think they're making like a lot of weird choices. Whereas I think Marvel is looking at what people want and like the changing times. Like I know a lot of people got upset when female Thor came out, or not a lot of people, but there was a vocal minority. That
some meninists out there on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. But then we found out it was Jane Foster, and a lot of even more comic book fans were like, "Oh, really? That's kind of, that was kind of the safe choice to make."
Well, then you find out she has cancer, and every time she uses the powers of Thor, it increases her cancer.
But it's an interesting telling, and it gives us more female characters who are strong, like not damsel in distress, but like really strong characters that are
making Falcon take over for Captain America. I thought it was pretty interesting.
We're getting in like with Miles Morales. He's now going to be the Spider-Man going forwards.
Right. I think it's funny how Marvel is embracing these. Like we talked about legacy characters a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. How Marvel is embracing all these legacy characters and changing the identities of these heroes. Where DC is casting out the idea of legacy characters and making it where it's like the traditional hero you always thought is now that, like with the New 52. Before the New 52, you had Wally West exists. Barry Allen was back, but you still had Barry Allen and Wally West. But then you had Dick Grayson as Batman. You had all this stuff, and then the New 52 happened, and they just like wiped it all out for the most part.
Yeah, and I know one issue you have with DC right now, or going forwards, is that Cyborg is now a founding member of the Justice League. But I think this is where they could have made it more interesting and have like Cyborg be older,
a Teen
and
Titan.
He used to be a Teen Titan.
He
and
worked
now
his way up to the major leagues.
I think that's a more interesting version of the story.
Yeah, show that he earned that position instead of.
Because we've known him.
And if they wanted to change the origin, which I'm fine with, and replace Martian Manhunter, who is one of my favorite characters, but I can see how he wouldn't fit on the Justice League that much. Maybe add a different character, preferably another female character, and another person of color, because it's all just white people on the Justice League.
Yeah.
And you just like.
Well, to me, it doesn't even have to be like, like a person of color or a female. It just needs to be something different. Like,
right.
We've had these same stories of like, Batman's a privileged white person, and then you have Wally West or Barry Allen, who's like a white suburban kid, and then you have Superman, who is an alien from space. But it's like we could tell these characters, like with legacy characters, in an interesting way. Like we said with Miles Morales, like
Marvel's been doing. They had their characters, and now they're changing up a little bit. Miles has the different background, then you've got.
And it just allows them to look at things differently. Like
put a different perspective on classic characters.
If you put like the Green Goblin against Peter Parker, it's gonna end differently than if you put Miles Morales with Green Goblin.
Exactly. It's gonna have you're looking at different perspectives, or taking these classic characters and adding a different perspective to them, or whatever. And instead of DC doing that or continuing doing that, they just went back to the same mold. But now I see they're changing it, but they're not. But they're just changing the characters, really, and like it just doesn't seem to work out the same way.
Yeah.
The whole Commissioner Gordon is now Batman. To me, I'm just like, well, that's just stupid. That doesn't make sense to me. Or like when the New 52 happened, and instead of Barbara Gordon being Oracle, she suddenly was no longer paralyzed, and now she's Batgirl again. To me, that like I've heard the Batgirl comic is really good, but that turned me off from it to the point where I'm just like, well, what was wrong with her being Oracle?
Yeah.
She was a great character like that, being Batman.
She was even a powerful character being that way,
being disabled too at the same time, like, and then so now they take away her handicap, and now she's Batgirl again. It's like, well, you had a great, interesting character with,
and dynamics with Batman and even like Dick Grayson,
and then
all
you just wiped that all away.
Yeah.
It just seems silly.
Yeah.
It seems like they don't have their shit together as much, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to hear what people who are big DC fans, because like I will admit I'll always be a Marvel fan over a DC. That's just what I got into growing up more. Mm-hmm. So I would like to hear what more like uber DC fans think, and would like to hear maybe like a counter argument or a different their perspective on the situation than what we think, because I would like to maybe have my mind changed.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say I'm necessarily more of a Marvel fan. I think I'm more of a Image fan.
Than anything else.
Yeah. Image and like Vertigo, I think, are my two favorite.
Well, Vertigo
publishers.
is now just all DC. They've all blended together.
But of the story, the comics that I've read, I think those two publishers do my favorite comics. But other than that, I think now I'm leaning more towards Marvel because I think what they're doing with Secret Wars is really interesting. Up until this point, I guess since I was a kid, I haven't really been interested in Marvel comics because they've just been rehashing similar storylines over and over again. That's what it feels like until we got not Green Goblin, Doc Ock as Spider-Man and stuff, and that was just crazy. Weird. I didn't really like.
I didn't really like that much, but I still read it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like when I remember reading Spider-Man number 700. I was just flipping through it, and then by the end I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was in a public place too. It's just I was pissed. I was with friends too. We were at a hookah place or whatever, and I had just gone to the comic book shop.
Yeah.
So I was reading it. I was like, hold on, guys, I'll hang out, but I need to read this too. And I finished it, and I was pissed the rest of the night. I can't believe they fucking did that.
But that's kind of a good thing. It made you react, and it made you feel something at least. Instead of just telling the same thing over and over.
It was an interesting story, and it developed Doc Ock's character.
Yeah. I'd rather see that and see it fail and then try something else than just get Peter Parker the same storyline over and over and over again. That's why I liked
when they. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
That's why I liked when, Peter was married and all that stuff because it changed his character.
And it gives you a way where he could eventually see a way out. He doesn't want to be Peter Parker because he needs to be there for his family.
You mean he doesn't want to be Spider-Man?
Yeah, sorry. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He wants to just be Peter Parker.
Yeah, he wants to leave that responsibility behind.
And that would be an interesting way to do it because...
well, that's why I was upset along with everyone else when they did the One More Day thing where it dissolved his marriage. And it's you built up all this character to Peter Parker and then you just took it away.
Well, and I think it's because they weren't ready for the next thing, which was honestly Miles Morales. We've had I'm not gonna remember his name, but a Hispanic Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, but we haven't had a present day Spider-Man that wasn't Peter Parker. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have before.
Oh, we did, but we had Ben Reilly, his clone.
Okay.
Well, we did have Doc Ock, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, before that point, we hadn't had anybody else. So it makes sense. I think now that they've seen that Miles does well, and people like Miles, and this idea that
I love
other
Miles.
people
to me, he's my new Spider-Man.
Well, it's with Batman. I think what makes Batman interesting and what makes Spider-Man interesting, besides Spider-Man kind of has powers, Peter Parker has powers, but he has the mechanical web sling, web, whatever you want to call them, web slingers, web shooters. Anybody could be that character, technically. Anybody could take up that mantle.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them most interesting, is you could have somebody else be Batman. You could have somebody else be Robin. You could have somebody else be Spider-Man.
Someone else could be Iron Man.
And somebody else could be Iron Man. They'd need the technology.
Going back to the beginning, we've got a new Hulk.
Yeah. It's that's what I think makes it so interesting is if these characters have been doing it for so long and people see the good that they do, why wouldn't somebody else take up the mantle? Or why wouldn't, Captain America's getting old and we see Falcon come up and he's I want to be, the next Captain America.
Right.
We should see that more often with more characters.
Yeah, we should see development. Do we want to see the same character for 70-some years?
Yeah. And it keeps them from having to create new heroes every time.
That's what originally got me into really liking DC before the New 52 was the idea of these sidekicks and when Wally, I learned that because Wally West was the Flash for me because I grew up watching the Justice League cartoon, and then finding out that it was Barry Allen before, and then Wally took over. It's that makes so much sense. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You add development to, obviously not Barry's character anymore because he's dead, but you add more development to that Wally West character.
Yeah, and it gives the
and
writers
he's a different Flash than Barry Allen. He behaves and reacts differently to different events and stuff.
And it allows you to not only have a different character, but you could also bring in different villains. You could also bring in, different ancillary side characters. Different love interests, different you know, like friends, different humans that don't have powers that they have to deal with like this situation. Are they going to tell them that they're the Flash? Are they not going to tell them that they're the Flash? You know, Barry Allen was like a crime not reporter.
He was a CSI.
CSI, but you know, Wally West could be an entirely different thing, and it could allow you to explore like a different scenario around their work life, and like it just allows you so much more leverage. You can have, you know, a Superman type character, a Flash type character, a Batman type character, even like a Martian Manhunter, and like all these, like Wonder Woman. You can have these power sets or these basic ideals, but then allow yourself to explore a more diverse, you know, whatever, like a person behind the mask.
Yeah.
So I think we agree on that front.
Yeah. Well, that was a really long tangent. I don't even know how we got to that
Whatever.
discussion. But it's the point of the pizza party. It's totally extra cash, dude.
Yeah, I'm a little buzzed, so whatever.
I'm not. I always have 2 drinks and I get, like, tired. That's it for me. But I ate a lot of pizza. I ate this whole pizza. Plus, I had, like, 2 slices of that. I was really hungry. It's like for not eating all day and just sitting in my room playing Pokemon, waiting for my laundry.
Yeah.
So I did, because I found out if you go to CW Seed, you can watch every episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
So I just been watching every episode just on a loop, and I just was sitting in my room playing Pokemon while my because I didn't have any clean shorts.
Yeah. Have you been watching from the start? Like,
No,
from the first?
There's so many. I watched some of the latest season, and then I went back to like the more of the Drew Carey era.
Yeah.
So I'm watching like season 7, which is from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You can tell it's dated watching
they
it.
Did
like,
a lot.
Man.
Yeah, they did a lot of episodes per season. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly
It's like 20
sure.
some.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they did like the more like regular 24 episodes. So like the jokes still hit because they're not that topical. But like you look at the people are wearing and everything, you're like, man.
Or even look
you can
back.
Tell this is 10 years
I
ago.
can't remember the name of any of the like people from the original. But like shit, you see them now when they sometimes
They
appear,
are old,
and it's like
because they're all on it. They're all on the show now still too.
They
you got
still
Wayne
are?
Brady,
Okay.
Colin Mockery, and Ryan Stiles are the 3 like staple like actors.
Yeah.
And they're still on the show now, and you can tell the difference from when the show went off the air to when it was brought back. And like, I mean, they're still just as funny.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. The only thing that is different is I've noticed that in the newer seasons they don't play as much of a variety of games as they used to.
Yeah.
It's more of like the same games over and over again, and not like the big variety of the different kinds they used to
Well,
have.
and it could just be like these are the ones that we found have performed best.
The best, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, they did some that I'm like, oh, this is really funny. I really like that. Or like, oh, that's
How do you
different.
like Alicia Tyler?
I love her,
Okay.
Aisha Tyler. So
Aisha Tyler?
Yeah.
Not Alicia? Maybe.
yeah. So I think she's really funny.
Because I watched, I think, like the first 2 episodes of her hosting, and I liked it, but I think that was around the time that we moved out, so I just didn't
keep up.
Didn't keep up.
It's interesting because that kind of goes back to our whole talk of like legacy characters in comics. How she adds like an extra dynamic to the show because she's basically a new character with this group. She's a new host, and it adds a different dynamic. It
keeps
it fresh.
She's a little bit. Drew Carey's like kind of dry humor, you know,
Yeah.
and she's a little bit more, like she's very witty and like like more outgoing or something. Like I don't know what it is, or not. What is the opposite of dry? You know, he's kind of like a.
She's more
sarcastic.
eccentric.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So I
one
think
thing
that
that was Drew Carey at the end of every episode, he always would say a winner, and then he would participate in the last game
Yeah.
of the episode. Excuse me, of the episode, and Aisha Tyler doesn't do that, but like that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Plus, with the new one now, instead of taking people from the audience all the time, they have a celebrity guest.
Oh, okay. Do they have any new comedians on, or is it just?
They have some new people. Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele is on
Okay.
there quite a bit.
Damn.
Gary Anthony Williams, who's been in, you'd recognize him. He's been in everything.
Yeah.
You might recognize him most as he was Stevie's dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he's on there quite a bit now too. And then they have classic actors that fill that 4th spot quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember they had like guest actors the first couple of, like I said, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 episodes that I
Yeah.
had seen. when she started hosting, but I don't remember any of the actors that came on, but I knew it was like, you know, this person that's in this movie coming up or something like that. Like, it wasn't necessarily a comedian.
Well, oh yeah. Well, they have a guest of the four guys. There's always a different fourth guy, and then they always have, instead of bringing people from the audience on stage, they would bring a celebrity guest on stage.
Yeah.
The latest episode from Monday was Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Ooh.
So they brought him on stage to participate.
I'd like to watch that.
Yeah.
Was it funny?
It was pretty good. It was really weird. Bill was really funny. He got really
Yeah.
into it. There was they did a helping hands game,
Yeah.
and there was like real alcohol, and Bill's just like taking a big, like he looked like he was getting drunk on stage.
I'm sure he was.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But I have this weird Who's Line tangent that we got. But yeah, that's
Whatever.
pop culture.
It's a great show. If you are young enough that you didn't see the original Who's Line, you should
They've
definitely
got
go back
all
and watch
11
it.
seasons on CW Seed for free.
Is that from CW themselves?
From CW.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's what I thought
And
they-
you can even get the CW Seed app, which I did on my phone.
Yeah.
It's not very good, but it works.
Well, I remember because there were some shows that used to be behind on Hulu. I think now all CW shows are the day after it goes up on Hulu.
Yeah,
But we used to watch, I don't remember even what show it was, but it must have been a few years ago. It might have even been like Gossip Girl or something. But Ashley, you know, wanted to keep up on it, and they would put it on like the hour after it airs on TV on the CW Seed app. So I'm sure they do something similar.
So you can go to the CW Seed website, which works okay. The only problem I have with it is like when it has an autoplay. The thing that though is when it goes to the next episode, it takes you out of full screen. And you have to go back into full screen.
That's annoying.
It's kind of annoying, but like not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then the CW Seed app kind of sucks sometimes, where like things don't work right, and like if it buffers, it doesn't just like it'll pick up back to like in the time amount that you left off. So that it's
okay.
buffering for 30 seconds. You'll miss the last 30 seconds. And then there's some different shows on here too, like that you wouldn't expect. So like it has Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, which never aired. That was a Fox show that aired on Fox, and that's on
Did it?
Yeah. No, it definitely aired on Fox. I know that for a fact. It has the original Flash show with John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
It has Almost Human, which was originally another Fox show.
Almost Human. Is that the one about?
That's with I'm trying to blank. Carl Urban and some other guy. They're like cops. His partner's like an android or something.
So here's what it is. The production company and the distributor were Warner Brothers Television for Terminator
okay.
Sarah Connor.
So that's why.
But it aired on Fox. So they do this a lot because the FCC, yeah, the FCC has a rule where a certain percentage of your shows have to be from another distributor, and a certain number of your produced shows have to be on not your own network. So there will be a lot of shows that are like produced by Fox but air on ABC or air on CW now because they have to meet this quota.
Sure. That's really interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, I heard about that like 2 weeks ago. I can't remember from where, but I looked it up to double check, and it is like a weird FCC thing.
Huh.
But yeah, so there's a lot of shows that'll be like that where, you know, Fox might eventually, like, I can't think of any, but like FX has the rights to air shows, like what would technically be syndicated shows, but because they're the production company and it's been X number of years, they can do it without extra cost. It's weird shit.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting entertainment business stuff. I don't know, man. Was there any other news this week that was like interesting at all?
I don't know. Let me.
Everything seems pretty boring. Like even the move. Like I watch Collider Movie Talk every day, and yesterday they just did like an all mailbag episode, and the day before that they just talked about like their favorite movies and least favorite of the summer, and so I'm just like, maybe it's
we could
just a really slow week.
Do you? I know you watch SourceFed Nerd, but are you?
Yeah.
You're familiar with like Maud Garrett?
Yep.
She has a YouTube channel called Geek Bomb, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
They do a thing like every month. It's called Power. It's play, watch, and read. Like what you're playing, what you're watching, what you're reading. We do something like that at the end.
Interesting. Yeah, we could do that.
Um,
I don't play. I guess I'm playing something right now.
Yeah, what are you playing right now?
I'm playing Pokemon.
Which version?
I am simultaneously playing Pokemon Yellow
Yep.
on my Game Boy Color. It's a real fucking hassle because there's no backlights on those.
Yeah.
So I've been sitting with a flashlight with duct tape taped around the button in front of me with my controller so I can see what I'm playing.
That's fucking
Because I get off work really late, so I have to play at night.
Yeah.
And it's dark, so I can't see anything. And I'm also playing Pokemon Platinum on DS, which
I don't know if I played that one.
that was
How recent was that one?
I
Was
think
that
came
for
out-
Emerald and Sapphire?
It was after. It's 4th gen.
Okay. I
So
don't
it
think
came
I've-
out. We were probably in like 8th or 9th grade when that came out.
I'm trying to think. I might have played that one. That might have been the last Pokemon game that I played.
That was interesting because that was the game that got me back into Pokemon. I mean, I had played every generation, but when Gen 4 came out, Diamond and Pearl, I never bought them or
Yeah.
played them. But then I started playing Platinum with my friend because my brother had Platinum, so I played his version and ended up buying it for my brother because I got so into it. And that's what got me, like, a resurgence back into Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it again recently because I've been bored, mostly.
Yeah. I wish I had a 3DS or like a DS so I could still play Pokemon games because that's like the one thing that I miss.
It's the only reason I have a 3DS.
Yeah,
is for
and I'm a
Pokemon.
huge like Fire Emblem fan, so
Okay.
I'd play those too.
I play Smash Brothers on the 3DS. I have that too.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll get a 3DS. Although I can't imagine it's gonna be around for much.
You can
longer.
get a 2DS for $100 right now,
maybe.
which is the same minus a 3D. And
Yeah.
I never use
No,
the 3D.
I don't think I'd ever.
I hate
use
the 3D. I hate the gimmick of 3D.
So what am I playing right now?
Yeah, what are you playing?
I'm playing a lot of Destiny, obviously. I've been playing that basically all throughout the year. And then, because of PS Plus, you get like a certain number of free games every month.
Yep.
I've been playing Grow Home, which is the PS4 game.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a weird game, but it's fun. And then Super Time Force on my PlayStation Vita.
Fuck that is.
It's basically...
You have a Vita? You're
Yeah.
one of the 4 people that has a Vita?
Yeah, I fucking love it. It's great for indie games.
I've only met 4 people that have a Vita. 2 of them were my roommates.
And
you are the other one.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like, here's the issue: is a lot of people thought because PlayStation marketed it as like this is gonna be basically your PS3 on the go. It's not really that. It's not quite as powerful. For obvious reasons. It's a handheld.
Right.
You're not gonna be as powerful as a home console, but it has a lot of great indie games. And like, if I have the choice of playing an indie game on my PS4 or my Vita, I'm probably gonna play it on my Vita. Because I can play it laying down at night before I go to bed, or like when school starts and I am taking the train every day and I have an hour to kill to and from school.
Yeah.
That's an hour of
My
something
roommates,
to do.
they would play it on the train on their way to
exactly.
school or work
It's
or
great.
whatever.
I mean, if I had the choice to go back and get a 3DS, I maybe would, because there's not necessarily more games, but there's more like what I consider AAA games on the 3DS. So like
Yeah.
the Pokemons and the Fire Emblem and like Smash Brothers and that kind of stuff. But I enjoy the Vita
There's
and
some
I don't
Vita
regret
games
it at
that
all.
I wish I could play on my. I wish if Splunky was on 3DS.
Oh man, Spelunky's so much fun.
Done.
Yeah.
But the best.
Yeah, that's what it's great for, is stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not so much like I'm gonna sit down and play, 2 hours straight or like whatever. Like when I'm playing
That's
on
how
my PS4.
Pokemon is. You have to play for like. But I've always been more of a handheld guy.
Yeah, I like handhelds for that reason. I can bring it with me wherever I go. I can turn it on.
sit in a chair. And just, okay.
Well, and
I'm
I can
done.
turn it on and be like, I'm gonna play for an hour. And if something comes up and it's like, hey, we're gonna go out, then it's like, okay, I can pause it or
Done.
save it and then go out. And then if I'm bored, I can fucking pop it out there.
Yeah, or I just
Whatever.
lay in bed and play it at night before I go to bed without
Yeah.
making a lot of noise and all that stuff.
So, are you watching anything right now? Any
Besides
shows?
Whose Line, no. There's
Yeah.
nothing. I haven't found
It's
any.
summer, so there's not really.
I haven't
anything
found
that
any
I'm-
shows to get into. Ever since I finished Buffy a few months ago, I've just been like bored of TV shows. Where I'm so glad I found Whose Line
Yeah.
to like occupy my brain. But yeah, I'm not watching anything besides that.
Yeah.
Not until the show start up in the next few months.
I'm just trying to think. Like, we'll watch movies on Netflix, but I don't think there's a single TV show that I'm watching right now.
I don't watch a lot of movies because I don't really like to watch movies at home during the day.
Yeah.
and I work nights, so it's hard to start a movie at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and we'll typically like if excuse me, if Ashley gets home at like 6, you know, we'll have dinner and watch a movie as we're eating dinner, and then finish it, and then, you know, it might be bedtime by then.
Right. I like to watch movies with other people than watch movies by myself.
Yeah.
That's probably another thing too, is why like I don't want to just like TV shows. I don't care because I can put that on and there's so many episodes. Some of them you don't have to watch intensely at every second. You can tune out.
Yeah. Are you reading anything? So comics or books, or listening to anything on audio?
I haven't gotten any new comics this week because I don't live right next to the comic book shop anymore.
Yeah.
But I just read Civil War. I still have Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra, to read. I haven't read that yet.
Is that the one with like the dad?
The dad, yep.
Okay.
You talked about
I'll
you were
have to read
interested in
that.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't read that yet, but it's in my stack. And then I also bought X-Men 92, which is part of Secret Wars. It's the X-Men from the animated series. I haven't read that yet. But ones I am currently reading and sticking to a schedule every month. Secret Wars, obviously.
Yeah.
Archie is my new favorite, where I've just felt I have 2 issues in and I'm just in love with it, and I can't wait for issue 3
I've heard
to
that
come
from
out.
a lot of people, actually.
Yeah,
it's
I know, really good.
IGN was giving Archie like really good reviews, and same with some of the other like sites that I follow for comic book reviews. And they were saying like now is the time to jump on to Archie.
It's 2 issues in, so it's easy to catch up. You can go and buy the back issues.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you prefer physical comics or digital comics?
I prefer physical, but I prefer like trade, not
trade. Okay. Archie is so good, I would suggest buying it.
Yeah.
The single issues. Just because, honestly, the art is so good. Even the cover art. And there's so many variant covers for the first issue. I was just like, I didn't know which one to buy. I just picked, had my roommate grab, like, which variant cover do you think is the coolest? And that's the one I'll go with. And, because it's Fiona Staples.
Yeah.
On the first 2 issues anyway, who does Saga and all that stuff. So the art is just great. And then it's written by Mark Waid. So Archie is my favorite one that's ongoing right now that I'm reading.
Are you still keeping up with Saga? I kind of fell off after issue 22, I think was the last one I read.
I fell off, so I'm waiting for the next trade to come out so I can quick catch up, and then I'm going to start buying single issues again.
See, because I remember it was like, I think it was like almost last year, there was like a 2-month hiatus from Saga.
It was the hiatuses that fucked me up. That made me
because
then
I just forgot, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's 6 more issues that I haven't read or whatever it was, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I don't know where I am in the trades.
I think we both left off around 21, 22, because I think 22 was when they had the hiatus, where there's like 2 months.
Well, like I jumped back on, but then I fell off again. I'll have to. My former roommate, my friend Sam, has all of the current trades right now, so I might try to see if I can borrow one of his. I think the 4th trade is the most current. I think that's where I left off, is somewhere in there. So then I'll have to wait for the 5th one to come out, and then I'm just gonna. I want to start buying them again every month. Yeah. Make it part of my
because that's
pull.
One of those comics that it's really, really good, and it's really interesting.
Yeah. It's like Invincible for me. I buy Invincible every month too.
That's one of those that I still have to catch up. Like I think I got to like issue 60 or 70.
You're like 60 issues behind then.
Yeah, but what it was that was when we were living in Maplewood, and I would just get the trade from the library.
Oh, okay.
And I would read like 2 trades every couple of days, and then I would go back and get the next one, and then it was like I hit like 60, and then I had to I don't know what you'd even call it. It's not pre-order, but like you have to reserve it online.
Oh, and you were
and then it showed up like 2 weeks later, and then we were moving out the next week, and I was just like, I don't have time right now. So unfortunately, I'm still like there and need to move forwards.
You're gonna love it. That's like right when it starts to get really fucking wild.
Yeah. Well, and it was even like after like issue 10 or whatever it was. It's like.
So that's the thing with Invincible is it's stuff happens in every issue and then leaves you on your like waiting for like the next one to come out.
Yeah.
And right now it's a very different dynamic because I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but it's the story is completely changed,
Yeah.
and it's really good. You'll love it once you catch up.
Yeah. I haven't really been reading any comics recently. I think the only Secret Wars comic that I picked up was Secret Wars number 5.
The main ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just finished listening to The Martian on Audible.
Oh, okay.
It's a fantastic book.
I'm excited for the movie.
I'm really excited for the movie. The book, it's weird. It's like, it's really quippy, very funny.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Some of the writing isn't on all the time. Like, it's not necessarily the most well-written book, but it's funny, and it's also really, like, informative and very, like, scientifically sound. You know, it's not one of those books that's, like, it's just making shit up.
You don't have to suspend your disbelief that much.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. It's written in layman's terms, so you're never like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on.
Right.
But it's also like, okay, you know, this sounds realistic.
Yeah, enough, yeah.
It's a great
The
book,
movie
though.
has me sold just on the cast alone.
Yeah.
You've got Matt Damon, Kate Mara, Kristen Wiig, I think, is in it too. Donald Glover.
You also have
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels.
Jessica Chastain. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor's in it too.
Yeah.
Like literally all like the best cast you could think of is in that movie.
And it's funny because as you were saying that, because I listened to it on audiobook, I'm instantly thinking, okay,
Who's playing
this
who?
is who. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for that movie. Are there any movies coming up that you're excited for?
The Black Mass is the next one I think I'm gonna go see.
Okay.
Let me check my what is it, Flickster? Yeah, let me check my Flickster.
And then
See what's coming out.
You saw both Straight Outta Compton and
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. I haven't seen either of those yet. I'd like to see both of them, but
You will like both of them too. If
Oh,
I
I'm
know
sure I'll
your
love
taste,
both
you'll
of them.
really like.
Yeah.
I really liked Man from U.N.C.L.E.
it seems kind of like it's Kingsman Secret Service, kind of in that vein of.
It's not really. It's very
Okay.
classic spy,
Okay.
60s spy. You know, you've got Henry Cavill, who's great. Alicia Vikander, who's also great. If you've seen Ex Machina, have you seen? Did you see
She was
Ex
also
Machina?
in Kingsman Secret Service.
No, she wasn't.
She was. I just got into this fight with Ashley and looked it up.
She
played
was?
she played the female character that won as Galahad or Galahad or whatever. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
What? I'm gonna look this up too because I don't believe this. But she's great. Armie Hammer. Seeing Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill like that made me want to see Armie Hammer's Batman. Like maybe Armie Hammer played a like a younger Batman.
Oh, am I totally wrong?
I think
swear we
you're totally wrong.
I swore she looked this up. I guess I was wrong. I swear. Who's the girl then from? Why does she look so familiar?
I don't know. Let me look it up. Let's type in Kingsman.
Kingsman.
Shit, you've got the computer. I'm on my phone.
Well, I'm looking this up right now.
Well, yeah, we're just kind of, I don't know.
Sophia, no, that's not her. What was her name?
Sophie Cookson as Roxy.
Where do you see Roxy? I totally don't.
Roxy, she was the
full
other
cast?
recruit, right?
No, yeah. That's
Yeah. I just scrolled down to cast on Wikipedia.
I was totally wrong, and she told me I was right. Oh well, I won't tell her. She'll never know.
You just secretly have won that round, even though you lost.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
No,
that's
she-
totally that
I
girl,
knew
and
for
she
sure
looked it up.
She was not in that movie,
Might be misinformation.
but she's great in Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's really, if you like '60s spy like I
Yeah.
do, it's really good.
The one that looks really entertaining.
And Straight Outta Compton is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I heard that it's not quite factual
It-
factual
I
because
mean,
of Dr. Dre wouldn't sign off on the movie rights unless they changed some of the stuff.
It cuts out a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
It portrays the guys as better people than they really were.
yeah,
But it also is pretty real at the same time. It gets the messages it needs to get across.
yeah.
I mean, it definitely sugarcoats a lot of it, but it says what it needs to say, and it does a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
So, definitely recommend that too. See it while you can. There's no other good movies. There's not even decent movies playing right now. It's all just trash.
Yeah.
Until Black Mass comes out.
Typical end of the summer stuff. You know what I mean? It's movies that nobody really cares about. This is the movies that are out right now, besides from like Straight Outta Compton and Man from U.N.C.L.E., are the typical summer movies from 15 years ago. You know, where summer blockbusters weren't really a thing. Where the summer was basically where they sent movies to die.
I don't think they ever sent movies to die in the summertime.
Oh yeah,
maybe at the end of summer.
Summer movies.
August used to be more. It used to be crap, and then it kind of came back with like the Marvel movies and stuff. And this year it's been pretty much crap.
Yeah. Summer movies used to be. It's like Friday nights for TV.
That We Are Your Friends, Zac Efron EDM bullshit movie, did less in its opening weekend at the box office than Jurassic World did. And Jurassic World came out 3 months ago.
Damn.
Yeah. It was the lowest opening box office weekend, or the third worst opening box office weekend of all time.
Which is sad because
Zac Efron's really good, but that movie looked really garbage. And from what I've heard, it's really bad. And it's like all the characters, like, you don't like any of them. Like, everyone's just kind of a dick, and you're not rooting for anyone. Mm-hmm. And your whole time you're thinking, it's like, everyone in this movie is shitty.
Yeah. Did you see... I can't think of what it's called. With Michael B. Jordan, with Zac Efron, and...
Oh, That Awkward Moment with Miles Teller in it, too.
Yeah.
I actually kind of enjoyed that movie. I did watch
me and Ashley watched that one. I think it was like, I got a free... Like, every month with Chromecast, you get offers. You have to, like, go in and manually check. And
really?
They give you, like, free offers. Sometimes it's, like, $1 to the Play Store. Sometimes it's, like, choose from these movies to watch for free.
Check sometime.
Or whatever. Yeah. You have to use the Chromecast app on your phone. But then, that was one of the movies, I think, it was, like, around Christmas time of last year. And it was like, well, Ashley wants to see this. I guess it's free,
I'll be
so
honest,
whatever.
I watched it on Popcorn Time a
couple
couple of years ago, or I think last year or whatever.
Yeah.
It
was a good movie.
I actually kind of enjoyed it.
The actress in that, she was in a movie called A Long Way Down that's on Netflix right now.
The one who plays Zac Efron's love interest? She was in Dark Knight Rises.
Was she?
She had a very small role. She was like that prostitute friend of Catwoman's.
But her role, or the movie A Long Way Down, that one's a really good one.
What is that about?
4 people go to commit suicide on the top of a roof, and then they basically are all like, oh, well, fuck. It's, I'm not going to remember any... Girl from United States of Terror, the main character.
Oh.
Really? God damn it. I don't remember her name. Aaron Paul, right? From Breaking Bad.
Yep.
He plays like... he comes off as like an American rock star, but I don't think you ever find out like who he really is. Her, and then... Oh man, why am I blanking on his name? I'm so bad with names. It's the second I put myself on the spot.
Do you know who he played?
He played Bond before.
Pierce Brosnan?
No, not. He played Bond before the current guy.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. Okay, so Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. And he's like a businessman who had like a shitty marriage and cheated on his wife with like a younger woman or something, and then they find out that she was like underage. And so it's like they're all going to commit suicide. The girl from the United States of Terror, her son is like mentally handicapped and is like in his 30s, and she's just been taking care of him, and it's just like she can't deal with it anymore. And then the young girl, I think, is just depressed because she's depressed. And so it's like a really interesting story.
That dude, it sounds like a real bummer.
But it's really interesting because it's like they get on the news somehow because Pierce Brosnan is like a CEO of a company, and it's like. So they go around and do interviews and shit like that, and like they're becoming famous, and they get like this free trip, and it's just like it's a really weird movie if you like weird movies. I don't know how I got on that topic.
That's interesting. Sounds like a bummer the way you sold it though.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I guess I like kind of bummer type movies.
I guess. I'm not into that.
Well, it's been probably about an hour.
Has it? I don't know how long it's been. I feel like it's been longer than that.
It's probably been longer than that.
7:18. That's what time it is right now.
Yeah. Looks like the stream started around 6:08. So yeah, it's been.
So we've been going for a while. One of our longer shows.
Whatever, fuck it. I'm buzzed.
We're full of pizza. Had some drinks. Yeah. It's really hot in here now. I'm feeling it.
Super hot.
My back is sweating.
I'm like lifting my shirt up because I'm dying.
Just a puddle. Yeah, Matt's AC does not work very well in his apartment.
Yeah. And it used to work. All of a sudden,
I think it's just too hot outside.
Yeah, I think it's just too humid. Like, it's just... I think it's blowing cold air. It's just there's so much humidity that it's just like, fuck it.
Can't keep up.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so if you're wondering what that noise is in the background, that sounds like somebody's going...
fan and the air conditioner.
Into the mic.
If we didn't have it, we'd be dying.
Yeah, we'd be dead.
We'd be dying. I can't think of anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of went off on some crazy, interesting tangents.
So, if we want to follow you on the internet, Scott, where do we do that?
I guess follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr at ScottyBoy, SCOTTYBWO, 4 Ys.
You can follow us at Twitter on Twitter at Fuzzy Loaf. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hagnerd, HAGNERD. You can comment on this video. You should be able to find us on iTunes soon. I think I just got approved yesterday and just haven't set up the feed or reset up the feed. You'll be able to find all the old episodes. Just search Fuzzy Loaf Podcast, I think is what we're just going to call it from now on.
I wanted to say, too, I bought a bunch of action figures for Force Friday yesterday. I got up at 8 o'clock, and the Target by my house had everything I was looking for, thank goodness.
Was there anybody else there buying the action
figures?
There
was one other guy.
Okay, because I was wondering if it was going to be one of those things, like a video game pre-order or whatever.
Oh, the midnight plate, the things that were open at the Targets that were open at midnight, and Walmart's were just torn apart. Mm-hmm. But so like the Target by my house in Andover, which is like the middle of nowhere, opened at 8 o'clock in the morning. I set my alarm for 8 o'clock, got up, threw some clothes on, drove to Target, which is a minute and a half from my house. Mm-hmm. So I was there by 8:15, and it was me and just one other dude, and I got all the figures I was looking for. So I got a Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Black. This is all Black Series, so I like the Black Series. I got a Kylo Ren, which I have not opened because I don't know if I want to keep it or not. I might end up keeping it. My friend might want to buy it. I spent a lot of money. It's hard to justify.
How much did you spend total?
It was $85.
Damn, for
4 figures because they're $20 a piece. I knew I was going to spend that much going into it.
Yeah.
I got a Finn, I got Rey and BB-8, who's awesome, and First Order Stormtrooper, who's really cool. But my only beef is like his right arm moves up and like completely, but for some reason like the joint on his left arm doesn't. So like you can move it like forwards and backwards, and you can bend at the elbow, but you can't bend the shoulder.
Weird.
Up. So like I can bend the right arm like this way, but I can't bend the left arm.
Maybe we'll get a reason. Maybe
there's a joint in there. I don't know if it's just stuck like that, or because I don't want to break it. It
maybe
seems
take
like
some WD-40 and
put that work on plastic.
Well, I imagine the joint inside is metal, right?
No, it's all plastic.
There's no.
They don't do metal joints anymore. That's a nine. They quit doing that in like the early 2000s.
That shows you how long ago I bought toys.
Yeah. So that's my only gripe with it. Otherwise, it's really cool. I'm just afraid to like some figures you have to kind of force it because it'll be like it'll be stiff from being in a package. But I don't want to force it because I've put enough force onto it where I'm just like, okay, if I do any more, I'm gonna break it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to break a thing I just bought yesterday for $20. So he's just chilling on my shelf now with all my other Stormtroopers. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Stormtroopers.
Are they releasing a Phantasma? Character?
Phasma.
Phasma, whatever.
There are Phasma figures, but there's not a Black Series Phasma out yet. I think she'll be part of Wave 2.
Okay.
But you bet your ass I will pay whatever amount of money I have to have a Phasma Black Series action figure.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I can't get in on the first, when they're out in the stores and they're $20, which I'm gonna I'm gonna try to be, I will go online and pay whatever anyone is asking for one. Because that is all I want more than anything is a Captain Phasma action figure. Because I love Stormtroopers so much.
Yeah.
Like, they're like my favorite thing of the Star Wars
She's
world.
the first female Stormtrooper we've ever
seen. And she's got like
Star
a
Wars.
chrome, and she's got that sweet cape. She's going to be like the new Boba Fett. She looks tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just had to talk about. I forgot about the action figures, and then we were doing our closing stuff. I was like, oh, Star Wars toys came out. So let us know if you got any Star Wars toys, if you were lucky enough to get anything cool like I did.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna play with when I get home.
Also, comment on any of the shit we talked about. We talked about like Amadeus Cho and Chris Evans continuing to be Captain America and like all this other stuff. Just comment.
Do you
about
like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Fucking great show.
It's great.
If you say no, just leave. Just get
No,
out of here.
still watch.
Well, still watch.
Still listen.
But get out of here.
But then come back
Wait,
after
yeah.
you've watched Whose Line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for indulging us when we do our pizza and beers version. You know, because we didn't know what the hell to talk about this week. And
Yeah, there wasn't much.
it's Labor Day weekend,
slow.
whatever. So anyway, you've already got our Twitter handles and stuff. We'll say it again. At ScottyBoy, SCOTTY, BWOY. He's at Hagnerd.
HAGNERD.
You can like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment, and I guess smell you later.
Bye.